So welcome back. This is video 26 and I am pleased to say at last that all the shrouds and all the ratlines are complete. Now if you notice on the top ones I've used the threaded system again instead of the knots. I've come to the conclusion that we use the threaded one there on the foremast, and then the main mast we use the knots, and the knots would have just been too big on there. And my thoughts are, now that it's complete, is that I should have used thinner thread to have the knots anyway, to do the knots. It's too thick, but there we go, it's done now. So we've got the two lower main mast ratlines done with the clove hitch knots, and all the rest is done with the threaded style. Okay, so now we're coming on at last to doing the spars. We've got the plan here. We're going to put all these different bits on before we can actually mount them on the model. So I stained all the spars, they're all here. I shaped all those. I think it was on video 17, I think. Anyway, I'll put something up in the top corner up here. I'll put a link to it if you want to see how I shaped them. So I've got this plan for that. I've got the plan over here, the big plan that shows where each sail goes, and I've got the instruction book that also helps showing where some of the rigging goes down to. There was those things that go in the crow's nest for the rigging, which are those bits, not the beads, but these things. I can't work out where they go. I've looked at pictures of the real ship, or should I say the replica ship that was built, and from what I can see, all the rigging lines come down through the crow's nest and down to the deck. So that is what I will be doing. So for any of you that can't work out where they go, or if you want to use them, I won't be. I'm not using them. So I'll do the same for both. So everything will go down to the deck somewhere. I might have to make some adjustments on the deck to fasten the rigging to. So we'll get started on doing the spars and fixing all these things on. Right, so we will start with the main spar, which is this one, and I've got everything out for it here. We've got this little kit. There's two of these. For these, they're called the parrels, which is like the bearings, if you like, that go around the mast to hold it on, that it slides them down on. So like little rollers. So we need to assemble that and fasten that on, and then we've got all these little blocks here, the 201s, which are the small single blocks, and then we've got a big block, one on each end there. So we'll make a start with that. As before, I assume I will have to drill all these out. Those are just a little bit small or bunged up. They don't take a lot of opening. And make sure you don't drill your fingers. There you go. Before, but make sure you get the knot at the right end, which I just haven't done. Yes, and that wants to be at the same end as the hull. There we go. And then a bit of binding. You can do it this way. You can if it stays on your finger. Yeah, that's all it needs. Scissors. So there we go. Yes, I cut the film because I cut the rope. So I had to go and do it again. So I naffed that up. I've come back and I've got it right. So smaller. A little bit of glue. There we go. Do fine. Really small. Right. Need to fix it onto the yard. So just move all these out of the way for now. Need to bring this round to where we're working. Cut a bit of that off. Just tie it on to start with. Simple knot. And then try and get the length something like from the plan. So just that's it. There we go. You can bind that end if you want, but there we go. I don't think it's Get a little bit of glue. There we are. So now we've just got to work our way along and do the rest of those. And we're going to put this parrel together. Very small bits. Took them out on the plan. And the thread. A lot of that for some reason. Anyway. Right, so what we do with this is we need our centre point, which I've stained it. I can't see it. Just mark that a little bit. And then take one end of the thread and fasten it on. I'll do a round turn on this one. Just go around twice. It doesn't want to be fastened in the centre, it wants to be off centre, because this is one side of the mast. So you're looking at like half thickness of the mast, which is there. I'll get it tied first anyway. And what you've also got to note on this, it doesn't show you on the plan because it just shows you everything coming downwards, but this needs to come off at right angles to these. Glue again. So that's the way we do that. Put the two threads both tied on in the same place, just to one side of centre. And then, looking at the plan, you can just about see it there. Got one ball first. So, I don't know how that's going to work. I think it's going to be a tweezer's job. This could go horribly wrong. They could go flying all over the room. But we'll see. Right. I can't see two going through that myself. Let's put the magnifiers on. One through. You see what I'm doing? Just about. Very easy. And that slides all the way up. And then to separate. One there. One on that side. Slide those up. As you can see, we're following the plan. And then it's a plate. What you'll notice with these plates is that they're not symmetrical. They have like a groove in one side. So you need to keep them all the same way. See? That one. And that's that one. That's the next bit. Then two more balls. And then the last one is the same as how we started. 2 through 1. There we go. And then I'm just going to have to tie a knot in there. Run it down. Right. That's that. That's how it should look. And then that goes around the mast like that and ties on there. So your mast goes through there. Okay. So I'll finish putting on the rest of these blocks onto this one and then we'll come back. Okay, so different day, but we've got done. So this is the main spar that we've done. Got all the rigging on. It's almost to the right place on the plan. I mean, you can't get these much shorter. They're shown like right down like this, but it doesn't make any difference. not a big deal. Next thing is putting the sails on. Now it actually shows you in the plan, which I've stood the camera on. It shows you how to put all the spars and everything on, and there's no real instructions apart from that. And it shows putting the mizzen on and the main. Yeah, so it shows putting all those on. But if you go back to the instruction, the other written instructions, it says about the rigging, and the only thing it tells you, what I'm talking about, is putting the sail on first. The last thing, it is advisable to lace sails to yards firstly. So it does actually say it, but right at the end, after you've probably put the yards on, then you're going to try and stitch the sails on. Anyway, so here's the sail for here, one that I stretched earlier. Got 4 done now, 2 left to do. Put those out of the way. The remainder of the parrels, put those out of the way. So first thing is to get it in the right position. So these are to the top for holding the yard up, and the parrel needs to be towards the rear, and the sail needs to be on the front, covering all of those like that. I put loops in the end of these to go over the ends of the spars, but it doesn't do it like that on this. I was copying the way I did it on the Victory, but it doesn't matter. I've pulled them in a little bit. We'll just start there with it. We've got all the holes marked on these. It makes it dead easy to keep the stitching straight and even. And the other thing is, if you remember, well, it was yesterday I said it, but it said like 3 seconds ago in the video, the rigging things up here that go in the crow's nest, I wasn't going to use them. I'm going to take the halyards right down, straight down to the bottom, and all we've got is one of those there, one on the main and one on the mizzen. But that's not really going to be enough space, because it shows you on the plan that we go around that twice. There's 2 really early on. We built these, and we put the there's a little pulley wheel inside there, a double one, but it does actually show you on here that it's double anyway. N, which is this one, main mast, and the foremast. So it goes through twice anyway, so there's no room to put the topmast thing down. It shows you there, but I don't know how you fix that. No idea. And it certainly wasn't like that on the real ship. No, it's just in there, that silly little thing. So these are going to come right down. And what I've done is I have made from scrap a couple of I don't want to move them because they're still set in, still glued. I've made a couple of pin rails, belaying pin rails, which I will stick on, one in front of the main mast, because that's the only place it can go there, and one behind the foremast, so we've got room. And then I'm going to put a couple of eye bolts in the deck, so it'll go down through the eye bolt and up to the belaying pins. Now I'm lucky because I had a few of these belaying pins left over from the Victory, so I've used those. There's plenty of scrap wood left in the model here, but the belaying pins, if you want to do it this way, you might have to buy some, or maybe make something out of cocktail sticks or whatever, but you can buy them. But I was lucky I had some left over. So that's just a point to note. And we can begin stitching the sail on. Now I'm not going to teach anybody how to suck eggs with threading needles. I've got the length of thread here, and the way I do it, which I find very easy, you watch it go wrong now, Lots of people you'll see licking the thread and going like this, trying to put it through. If you pull it right back through into your fingers like that, squash it, and then line the needle up with where it is. Push the needle down into your fingers. It goes straight through, look at that. How easy was that? Right. I've left plenty of thread on this. I've left it quite long because I'm not sure how much it's going to use. And the first thing to do with it is to tie one end off where it starts on the sail. So if we look here, I've got it all in picture. So about there somewhere. Mark on there. Bit of glue. Vacuum cleaner in the background, sorry about that. Can't stop the misses. Cut that end off. Oh, for a workshop. There we go, I haven't got one, so. Okay, so back again, make sure everything's in the right place. Parallels to the back. And the sail on the front. Like that. So we'll start off just in that corner. Yeah, you need to go through from the front. And then go through from the front again. But you need to keep your thread over it, like that. That's it. And again. Through from the front, keep that over it. Like that. Again. Through from the front. But keep this thread, this side of it. Okay, now we've got to there. We just need to tie it off. Wrap it around. There we are. Now you just got to play around with it and get it all in the right place. And there we go. Dab a glue on there. There. Right, then we have to look at fixing it to the boat. So you've got your parrel there, which you know is to one side. So in the middle of that, we need to fix our halyard. And I'm using this size for the main. I've already glued the end of that, make it hard for threading through. And I'm just going to get a rough calculation of the size required. So, in the fixed position it's going to be up here. So we need at least from there down to the deck to go around the pin rail. But I want plenty to be able to fix it to the spar and a bit to play around with. So I'm going to give it a good length of that. There we go. Right, and then need to fasten it around the spar. So we can use the hardened end, just push it through. So, a couple of turns on it. Knot it and bind it if you want. Make sure it's fixed at the top. I'm going to bind that. These got gold. Right, and then as per the plans and as we did earlier, there is a hole underneath the crow's nest which this goes through. Trying to see it and keep everything in camera is very difficult. There we go. And that is the first sail on. And then all we need to do is tie the parrel back around the mast, which is quite tricky. I'm going to drop it down actually to do that. But there we can see can't find a way to tie it off. First sail. When it's all rigged, we'll put them at a bit of an angle like that, but you can see looks like a well-used sail and quite aesthetically pleasing. It's all rigged up, it'll be good. So that's it for this one. I've come on quite a way now. So pleased to have got off those shrouds and ratlines. It took so long. And I'll fit the pin rails. That's all they are. It's just made from a bit of scrap. You can make those up if you're doing the model. As I say, one will go just there in front of the main mast, and the other one will go just behind the foremast, just in there. Give us plenty of spaces to fasten the rig into, which we'll come on to in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.